The discovery that changed everything. When stars started watching. Dr. Sarah Chen had spent 15 years studying radio signals from deep space. She worked at the Goldstone Observatory in California's Mojave Desert, listening to the whispers of distant stars. Most nights brought only static and cosmic noise. But on March 14, 2025, everything changed. The signal came at 2:47 a.m. Sarah was drinking her fourth coffee of the night when the computer screens lit up with patterns she had never seen before. The signal was too organized to be natural. It repeated in mathematical sequences that could only mean one thing: someone was trying to communicate. Her hands shook as she recorded the transmission. She called her supervisor, then the director, then the Department of Defense. Within hours, the facility was filled with government officials, military personnel, and scientists from around the world. Everyone wanted to understand the message hidden in those radio waves. It took 3 days to decode the signal. When they finally translated it, the room fell silent. The message was simple but terrifying: "We have found you. We are coming. The world learns the truth." Governments tried to keep the discovery secret, but information like this could not stay hidden for long. Within a week, leaked documents appeared online. News networks picked up the story. Social media exploded with theories and panic. The United Nations called an emergency meeting. President Michael Harrison addressed the American people from the Oval Office. He looked tired but determined. "My fellow Americans," he began, "we are not alone in the universe. An alien civilization has made contact with Earth. We do not know their intentions, but we must prepare for any possibility." Around the world, people reacted in different ways. Some celebrated the confirmation of alien life. Others stockpiled supplies and built shelters. Religious leaders debated what this meant for humanity's place in creation. Scientists worked around the clock to learn more about the approaching visitors. General Marcus Webb was put in charge of Earth's defense preparations. He was a decorated soldier who had served in 4 wars. He had led men through impossible battles and always found a way to win. But this was different. This enemy came from the stars, and nobody knew what weapons they possessed. Webb gathered the best military minds from every nation. They studied every science fiction movie, every alien invasion scenario, every theoretical battle plan ever created. They prepared missile defense systems, mobilized armies, and converted commercial satellites into early warning systems. But deep down, Webb knew the truth. If the aliens were advanced enough to cross the vast distances between stars, Earth's weapons might be useless against them. The secret project. What Webb did not know was that Earth already had a backup plan. 25 years earlier, another alien signal had reached Earth. This one had been successfully kept secret. It contained blueprints for advanced technology, a gift from a friendly civilization that wanted humanity to be ready when others came looking. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility so secret that only 50 people knew it existed, Project Sentinel had been building humanity's insurance policy. Director James Holloway oversaw the operation. He was a gray-haired man in his 60s who had given up everything for this work. The facility was enormous, carved out of solid rock over 2 decades. Inside, engineers and scientists worked on technology that seemed like magic. They studied alien designs for engines that bent space itself. They learned to create shields that could stop any weapon. They built systems that could predict enemy movements before they happened. At the center of the facility sat humanity's greatest achievement, the UNSS Defiant. She was not the largest ship ever built, but she was the deadliest. Every system, every weapon, every inch of her hull incorporated alien technology that humans had spent 25 years learning to understand and improve. Captain Rebecca Stone commanded the Defiant. She was 42 years old and had trained for this moment since she was 17. She had been recruited from the Air Force after scoring perfect marks in every simulation. For 25 years, she had studied, practiced, and prepared to defend Earth against an enemy she had never seen. Her crew numbered 8,000. They came from every nation on Earth. Fighter pilots from Russia flew alongside American aviators. Chinese engineers worked next to European scientists. Indian doctors trained with African nurses. They represented the best of humanity, united by a single purpose. The Defiant was 3 miles long and packed with weapons that could crack moons. Her shields could withstand the heat of a star. Her engines could accelerate her to speeds that made light seem slow. She was beautiful and terrible, a sword hanging in the darkness, waiting to strike. The visitors arrive. 6 months after the first signal, they came. The alien fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. There were 37 ships, each one massive and covered in weapons. They moved in perfect formation, like a school of predatory fish. Admiral Chun-Li watched them approach from Earth's orbital defense station. She had commanded space operations for 8 years, but nothing had prepared her for this sight. The alien ships made Earth's entire military fleet look like toys. The aliens sent another message: "We are the KRYLL Dominion. We claim this system and all resources within it. Your species will serve us or be eliminated. You have 72 hours to surrender." The message played on every screen on Earth. Billions of people heard the ultimatum and felt fear unlike anything they had known. This was not a natural disaster that could be survived. This was not a war between human nations that could be negotiated. This was extinction staring humanity in the face. General Webb wanted to fight immediately, but President Harrison held him back. "We need time," the president said. "Time for evacuations, time for our defenses, time for—" He stopped speaking. He could not tell Webb about Project Sentinel. Not yet. That secret had to be protected until the last possible moment. As the 72-hour deadline began counting down, nobody on Earth knew that humanity's real answer was already awake and ready. Deep in her mountain bunker, the Defiant hummed with power, waiting for the order to rise and show the galaxy what humans could do when pushed to the edge. When humanity stopped hiding. The choice no one wanted. The United Nations building in New York had never been so crowded. Leaders from every nation gathered to decide humanity's fate. Some argued for surrender. They showed projections of the alien weapons destroying cities. They calculated that resistance would mean extinction. Others demanded defiance. "We will not bow to tyrants," shouted Ambassador Kofi Mensah from Ghana. "If we surrender, we lose more than our lives. We lose what makes us human." The debate raged for 18 hours. Outside, protesters filled the streets. Some carried signs begging for peace. Others demanded war. The world watched and waited, knowing that whatever decision came from that room would determine whether humanity lived free or died fighting. President Harrison sat quietly through most of the debate. He checked his phone every few minutes, waiting for a message that would change everything. Finally, it came: "Defiant is ready. Awaiting your orders." He stood up, and the room fell silent. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "before we vote, there is something you need to know." The truth revealed. Harrison activated the large screen at the front of the room. Images appeared showing the secret facility, the alien blueprints from 25 years ago, and finally, the Defiant herself in all her deadly glory. The room erupted. Leaders jumped from their seats, shouting questions and accusations. How could such a project be kept secret? How much had it cost? Why were they not consulted? Harrison let them shout until they exhausted themselves. Then he spoke again. "This ship represents 25 years of work and the combined resources of 12 nations. We kept it secret because we knew that if our enemies learned about it, they would strike before we were ready. Now we are ready." He turned to General Webb. "General, I am authorizing Project Sentinel. Wake up the Defiant and show these aliens that Earth is not defenseless." Webb's eyes went wide. He had not known about the secret project, but he understood immediately what it meant. He saluted sharply. "Yes, Mr. President. They will regret coming here. Deep in the Rocky Mountains, Director Holloway received the authorization codes. He turned to Captain Stone, who stood beside him in the control room. Captain, you are cleared to launch. Stone felt her heart pound in her chest. This was the moment she had trained for her entire adult life. She picked up the intercom microphone. Her voice echoed through the entire facility. All hands, this is the captain. Man your battle stations. We are going to war. Rising from the earth. 8,000 crew members rushed to their positions. Engineers powered up the reactors. Pilots climbed into their fighters. Gunners loaded weapons that could punch holes through mountains. Doctors prepared medical bays for casualties everyone hoped would never come. The massive hangar doors began to open. Rock that had sealed the facility for 25 years split apart, revealing the sky above. Warning sirens blared across Colorado as civilians were evacuated from the surrounding area. The Defiant's engines came to life with a roar that shook the mountains. Blue light flared from her thruster ports as she began to rise. Slowly at first, then faster, she climbed through the opening. Rock and dust fell away from her hull as she emerged into sunlight for the first time. People across Colorado stopped and stared at the sky. News helicopters captured the moment and broadcast it worldwide. The ship that rose from the earth was like nothing anyone had imagined. She was dark and angular, covered in weapons and armor. She looked like a predator, like something built for one purpose only, to kill. Captain Stone sat in a command chair on the bridge, her hands gripping the armrests. Through the viewscreen, she watched Earth fall away below as the Defiant climbed toward space. Helm, set course for the alien fleet. Maximum speed. Aye, Captain, responded Lieutenant James Park at the helm. ETA to engagement range, 43 minutes. Stone opened a comm channel to the entire ship. This is the captain speaking. In less than an hour, we will engage an enemy that believes we are weak. They think we are primitive creatures who cannot defend ourselves. They are wrong. We are humans. We have fought and survived for millions of years. We have conquered every challenge our world threw at us. Now we will show the galaxy what happens when you threaten Earth. The crew cheered at their stations. Fear was replaced by determination. They were ready. First contact, first blood. The KRYLL Dominion fleet detected the Defiant as soon as she broke atmosphere. Commander Vexthal, leader of the invasion force, studied the readings with confusion. The humans had hidden a warship. Impossible. His scouts had surveyed this system for months. They would have detected something so large. He examined the sensor data more carefully. The ship was primitive in some ways, clearly built by a young species. But the power readings were wrong. The energy signature was too high. It matched KRYLL technology, perhaps even exceeded it. Vexthal felt something he rarely experienced, doubt. He opened a channel to his fleet. All ships, raise shields. Prepare weapons. Target the approaching vessel. 37 alien warships turned to face the Defiant. They powered up plasma cannons and missile systems. They locked targeting computers onto the single human ship that dared to challenge them. On the Defiant's bridge, alarms sounded as sensors detected the alien weapons charging. Captain, called out Lieutenant Sarah Martinez at Tactical, they are preparing to fire. Multiple target locks detected. Stone's face remained calm. Shields up. Weapons hot. And send them a message. Martinez nodded and typed quickly. A text message was transmitted to the alien fleet in their own language. This is Captain Rebecca Stone of the United Nations Starship Defiant. You have threatened our world. You have given us an ultimatum. Now we give you one. Leave our system immediately, or we will remove you by force. Vexthal read the message and laughed. One ship against 37. These humans were either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Fire, he ordered. The alien fleet opened fire simultaneously. Dozens of plasma beams and missiles streaked across space toward the Defiant. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The Defiant's shields flared bright blue as the weapons hit. Energy cascaded across the protective barrier. For a moment, the bridge crew held their breath. Then the shield stabilized. They had held. Stone smiled coldly. Their turn is over. Now it is ours. Tactical, fire main cannon. Target their command ship. The Defiant's primary weapon was a particle beam accelerator that ran the entire length of the ship. It required enormous power and took several seconds to charge. But when it fired, nothing could stop it. A brilliant white beam lanced out from the Defiant's bow. It crossed the distance between the ships in less than a second. Commander Vexthal saw it coming and tried to turn away, but he was too slow. The beam struck his flagship directly amidships. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire ship exploded in a massive fireball that lit up the darkness of space. The remaining 36 KRYLL ships stopped firing. They had just watched their commander and his entire crew vaporized in an instant. The primitive humans had just destroyed their most powerful warship with a single shot. Captain Stone's voice came across all frequencies, speaking in the KRYLL language. That was your warning. The next one will not be alone. You have 10 seconds to start retreating, or we will destroy every single one of your ships. She began counting. 10, 9, 8. The alien fleet began to turn away. 7, 6, 5. Their engines powered up for retreat. 4, 3, 2. The alien ships jumped to hyperspace, fleeing the system as fast as their engines could carry them. 1. The Defiant hung alone in space, victorious. On Earth below, billions of people watched the battle on their screens and erupted in celebration. Humanity had faced extinction and won. Captain Stone allowed herself a small smile. Then she opened a channel to Earth. Mission accomplished, Mr. President. The aliens are gone. Earth is safe. But she knew this was only the beginning. The KRYLL would return, probably with more ships. And there were other species in the galaxy, some friendly, some hostile. Humanity had announced its presence to the stars. Now they would have to be ready for whatever came next. The age of hiding was over. The age of humanity had begun.